All right, but we're going to begin with Ukrainian soldiers, troops still fiercely defending a city that Russia is closing in on.
Now, both sides are experiencing heavy losses right now. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab reports from the region where few residents remain.
The horrors being waged in Bakhmut are being described as hell on earth, as waves of Russian soldiers and Wagner Group mercenaries push into the city from three sides. But Ukrainian forces are putting up a fierce resistance as both suffer enormous losses. The fear now is Moscow will try to push a few miles west to take all of Chasiv Yar, which is already firmly in the Kremlin's crosshairs.
This once sleepy town is now a garrison town, and when or if Bakhmut falls, this is next.
For the residents who remain, life is an unrelenting misery. Every other minute, the sound of shelling thunders through the streets as Ukrainian forces race to and from the front. It's here we meet 85-year-old Antonina, who's lived in Chasiv Yar her entire life.
Antonina, all we hear is shelling. Aren't you afraid?
Whenever I leave my home, I pray to God, she says. I pray I can get some bread and not get killed along the way. For Antonina and so many other remaining residents, staying here is an act of faith. But with every passing day, that faith is starting to waver. At an aid center, locals are being encouraged to evacuate. Daniel Wilk is a Canadian volunteer doing just that.
I pray we'll just try to get them out of the range of artillery.
I mean, there's a lot of artillery here.
Yeah, but legitimately, if Bakhmut falls, this place is going to get destroyed.
Inside the aid center, we meet Sasha and Ludmila, who've been married for 46 years. Sasha tells us his health is deteriorating fast, and he's ready to go. It's scary to live here, he says. I'm not living, I'm suffering. But Ludmila just can't bring herself to abandon her life.
Do you support your husband's decision to leave while you stay here?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
It must be so difficult, though.
It's hard, she says.
Складно.
I will survive. I am strong. But as they make their way to the car that will take Sasha to safety, it's too much to bear. Don't cry, he says. You should come with me.
Now, Ludmila did not join her husband. She stayed in Chasiv Yar to care for her animals, something which even a month ago would have seemed like a small sacrifice. But today, it's one of life or death. Tony, Errol.
Imtiaz, that is certainly a stirring report. And as we saw, so many Ukrainians, where you are, continue to refuse to leave their homes, even with the threat of so much violence, even for those like Ludmila who have someone saying, leave with me. Why do folks decide to stay amid all of this violence?
It's so hard to explain, Errol and Tony. You go to these places, you see the devastation, you see how people are living. They live without water, they live without electricity. As you saw in our report, every other minute you can hear the sound of shelling, and yet they remain. In Bakhmut, which is being called hell on earth, there's 4,000 people still there. And just a few miles away in Chasiv Yar, people are there and they know that if Bakhmut falls, their town is next. Russia will be knocking on their door. And they say to us, I'm too old to leave, or I don't have enough money. But at its heart, the reason people stay is that as long as their home is standing, they will stay in it. And they say to us, if we die in our homes, then at least we've managed to stay where we belong, in our homes, as proud Ukrainians. And that's why they stay.
Wow. Literally standing their ground. Imtiaz, we appreciate you and your crew going there to the front lines to share this with the rest of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.